the freshest in the place. Running laps with my vibe and you can't keep the pace. Head to toe while
Hey
dripping in
everyone,
style.
welcome to the spot.
Fly
I'm
with a
Tiffany.
$1 million
I'm Ron.
smile.
And we just finished an amazing interview with the writer and director of The ReWrite. It's an amazing film. I had an opportunity to see it at Martha's Vineyard African American Film Festival, and I can't wait for you guys to see it too.
It's a must see. Well, first of all, I'd like to say welcome. We're the Spot Real Talk. I know you've met Tiffany. I'm Ron, one of her uh, cohorts here. We have another person that isn't able to make it. That her name is Tiara. It's usually two women against one man in most cases. I like it that way, though. To be honest with you,
Yeah, I've seen the show. I like that dynamic. So we
Thank you.
miss her today. You can let her know that we missed her today.
absolutely, absolutely. So, Tiff, you want to start out?
Sure. Um, I had the privilege of meeting you, Terry Dawson, we should say, the director and writer of The ReWrite, at the Martha's Vineyard African American Film Festival in August. And I saw your film and it was amazing. And I remember asking you at the talk back, if Elliot was based on you, and you said no. And since you said that, my question was, what inspired you to write this movie?
What inspired me? You're saying if it's not about me, what inspired me to write it? Well, I guess I can maybe walk that back a little bit. I guess all of my characters are a little bit of me. I think Elliot, though, is more a reflection of an experience that I feel like I know, that so many Black screenwriters and writers in particular have had, and just how they say, or there is an expression, they say, write something you would want to watch.
Right.
And we actually, we reference that in the film. He says that to the executives that he's speaking to. Um, that's one of many like meta moments. I wanted to write something that I would want to watch. I love stories about writers. I don't know why. I always have like stories about writers. I just think is, that they always just kind of appeal to me. You don't see a lot of stories about Black writers though, and I think even in trying to find a character that would be even trying to find an example that we could cite in the film, it would be something like, oh, I know what he's into. I know what he's talking about. Love Jones was the only example I could
That's
think
my
of.
favorite. I was going to say
The
that.
only one I could think of, you know what I'm saying? And even still, that was a part of this sort of larger thing where they were very chic, avant-garde, performance poetry, Chicago, and a certain, special place and time. Um, that didn't feel like a story about a writer per se, though, So I wanted to see a story about a writer. I thought a story about that Black writer's experience in particular would be something interesting, and that's how Elliot was born.
Well, they also say write what you know.
Yeah.
And and I'm picking back on what Tiffany asked you. There must
Yeah.
be some element in there with you and Elliot. Now, Elliot is a very complex person.
Yes.
And I really like that about him. Initially I thought he might have been a little too high strung, but as I got to, more into the development of Elliot, I could see where he's coming from, and in a lot of ways he's right. So,
Yeah.
give me some synopsis of you and Elliot in terms of compatibility.
How may I be like him?
Yes.
Well, let me see. Let me see. How can we do this? I suppose you could go, down the list of his sort of story beats and points and say, I have the supportive parent who's like, I got your back, and I got that other parent that's like, how long are we gonna do this? I think that's a common thing, for
Mhm.
creatives.
Yeah.
I have certainly gotten relationship complaints, that I'm more into the work than the situation. That's something that can happen. We're creatives, I think, can be very obsessive about what they are doing, and that can kind of take center stage. And that's hard for somebody that you love or who loves you, somebody you're trying to love, somebody that's trying to love you. So there's some truth there. Um, Interestingly, the question of Elliot's drinking always comes up.
Hmm.
Now, I will say this. I have had several conversations with several other creatives, even my therapist, if I'm being real about it, about the fact that I love sipping red wine while I drink. That's just a part of my flow. I like to put on, my music, and that, it really helps me to get immersive in the scene.
Mhm.
In the film, I probably elevated that to where it was a lot more problematic for him. But that is an emphasis in my life, and that is something that, I do kind of I would like to find a way to do that without that. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause
Mhm.
at that point, you do want to say, I know this is in me without, needing for it to kind of be coaxed out. Um, so that's real. That, that's an element. Let's see what else we got. The friends, the homeboys. I
Mhm.
feel I feel like I have an inner jazz musician and an inner fitness buff workout dude inside of me. So those, that my friend group is definitely, kind of made up like that. And I'm a little bit of both of those guys too. So
I knew it. I knew it had to be something there, but that's good. That's good. It's real good.
But you know what though? Um, Ernest Hemingway used to have like a routine and stuff too when he
sure.
went to write. I mean, and people what
Yeah.
David Walden and Thoreau folks to go to the cabin to write without.
Yeah.
So everybody has their thing. I'm creative too. I'm a writer as well.
Okay.
So
What's
everybody has their thing.
what's your thing? What's your process?
I'm a night owl. So I
Okay.
feel like my
Okay.
creativity works best at night. Like I'm
Okay.
not a morning
True.
person and
True.
stuff. I mean, I can get there if I gotta be there early. I can get there.
Yeah.
But as far as my creative juices, I think they work best at night.
Tiffany, I don't know what it's about. I'm right there with you. So much to the point where I'm one of the few people I know looking forward to the daylight saving time, the change that's coming up, because I'm like,
Mhm.
all right, it's gonna get dark at like 5 o'clock. I got a good work chunk between like 5 and 10, 11 o'clock, and I can still go to bed at a decent hour and live a normal life basically. But yeah, my creative brain turns on when the sun goes down for whatever reason. That's when it kind of lights up. So I'm
I
with that.
Yeah, and I found that out for myself when I was in undergrad. Like a lot of times I felt like for undergrad I was an English major in English and studied journalism and things. But for my papers, I felt like the best papers that I did was
Yeah.
at night. Like I take a nap, this whatever, and then I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
now I can lock in into this paper. And those were some of the best papers. My
Absolutely.
creative juices were.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I have to trio that because I'm exactly the same way. I'm a writer,
Okay.
started getting into writing lyrics,
Okay.
mixing a few things, and I've come up with a couple things. And as recent, I should say, as last night, I woke up at 2:30, grabbed my phone, and started writing some these lyrics. And I thought I'd just do maybe, a little bit, put it down, but it kept bugging me. I couldn't go back to sleep. So I had to pick it up and finish the whole thing. And I'm in the process of producing it now. But
Okay.
I've been that way. I'm a Howard grad, and I studied. I had a course called Psychology of the Black Experience, and I found out then that my juices flow after midnight. And I
Okay.
think for the most of us, it's because it's quiet.
Mhm.
No matter what the apparatus you use to get into that 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 flow. But I think it's quiet, and you're allowed to. I don't have to worry about somebody asking me questions about what I'm doing, uh, micromanaging what I'm doing. Sitting over my shoulder, asking me, well, why am I saying this versus that? And I can get into my groove, and just like Tiffany said, right around midnight to 3 a.m., if I'm writing, it's
Yeah.
going to be good.
Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah. So, um, I
Thank you for that validation. I won't fight it so much. Really
man,
take.
live it, live it, live it. Live it. But your
Okay.
character Ash, though, she's also a writer, and but they're two distinct products, if you will, that is between Elliot and Ash. And I thought the two of them coming together seemed like a train wreck, but I think she was able to touch him at some point. I don't know if she really accomplished what she might have set out. And in fact, Ash didn't seem to me to care at all too much about Elliot's problems. She pretty much just let him have it.
No,
He was still
I got to disagree because they
well,
had a writing group.
no, I know, but I'm saying she was very firm on what she does, and she was, she wasn't going to have a pity party with Elliot, and I think for some, Elliot was looking for a pity party, but he never got it from any of his friends.
No, he came at her wrong.
Ah,
The way his approach
this is
was
what we
wrong,
do on the
and
show.
she had to check him. Yeah, that's what we go at it. She had to check him because the thing is, like you said, Terry, he was right about some things
Mhm.
about wanting to present black characters in a certain light, and I felt him on him wanting to have that perspective. But I also felt Linwood when he said you need to go deeper with these characters. Like he knew that he could get there with them. Like some of the things that, as much as I didn't like those executives, the white executives approach to them, I hated in the beginning. I was like, oh, I was really team Elliot, and I was team Elliot throughout. But part of what they were saying was right as far as making his characters more complex and flawed, because basically that is interesting. That's what draws us to shows and things. And when I took a pilot writing class, and when I was in that class we were told that a lot of the leads in these pilots and these stories, they're flawed, or else it's going to be boring. You got to make them complex. So I felt what she was trying to tell him. Like she was trying to give him some advice. And then the way he came back at her, it was like he was insulting her work. Like, but that may work for you. But so I see why she snapped on him.
Right.
I guess so. The question is, how did you come up with these two opposing characters, though very interesting, and yet um, a lot in common, but for some reason, as you can see, it really didn't, the similarities didn't show that much on screen because she has one thought, I have another. But just
Right.
tell us a little bit about these characters that you came up with.
Huh. Wow. I will tell you something interesting. Y'all about to get a real juicy nugget right now. So
Like tea now. We like tea.
okay, y'all gonna love this then. There was an earlier version of the script, and there was an earlier scene that we filmed where Elliot is on his phone and he's chatting with this friend from his writing group, and her name is Siobhan. This is the girl's name. So he's going back and forth with Siobhan, and the door swings open, and it is a white girl. And through a series of jokes back and forth, you realize that it's the Irish spelling of Siobhan, which is Siobhan. So the Ash character was originally a white girl named Siobhan that Elliot had this relationship with. And I have to tell you, we shot the scene, and that was in an original version of the cut. People did not like that. They felt like it was. I think the feeling was that I think you can have something that works well on the page, and that was another interesting, element of sort of complexity,
Mm-hmm.
personality. But I think when people actually were seeing it,
Mm-hmm.
it did not play well to people. They did not like that this was the situation when he had Brandy, who was this beautiful black girlfriend, and like, what are you doing with this situation on the side with this? It casted, it put a lot of different kind of questioning on him that I don't think was it wasn't intended, and it wasn't helping him as a character. You you described him as complex. That was putting him into, for people, that was putting him into a different box. That was almost hypocritical with him being Mr. Pro-Black that he was and everything.
I was
So,
about to go there. I was going to say.
so, so we had to really do some thinking about it. And originally, we tried a version of the film where we just cut those scenes and that relationship. But we said, no, we really miss him having somebody else in his world, another writer, somebody who like gets him and who knows where he's coming from. Because for the most part, everybody else is really on the periphery of his experience. You know what I'm saying? They're good cheerleaders or sounding boards, but we needed somebody else that was in that kind of space with him. And I played around with a lot of different kinds of things. And at some point, I think I saw a video, I was scrolling through Instagram or something, and Amanda Seals was going on about something. And I said, I wonder if this new character could be like some kind of Amanda Seals inspired Black woman writer who just had all of this smoke that she was always bringing and really kind of calling him out and kind of taking him to task and seeing how he would deal with that and how he would sort of show up and confront that. So that's how Ash was born. I mean, it was, we had to go back to the drawing board on that character, and she had to be crafted. And that was many months later after people saw a cut and were like, we need something different for right here. So
He was
yeah.
a good addition.
No, right.
And that was a good question, Ron, because my next question was pertaining to the ensemble cast, because that
Yeah.
was a really good cast.
Yeah.
Strong Elliott, and had the opportunity to see Fred Ramsey Jr., who played Linwood. He was really good. He was really good. And I remember at the talkback at the Martha's Vineyard Film Festival that you said that originally that Linwood, that Fred wanted to play Elliot instead of the Linwood character. So I wanted to see if you can talk about that. Like, how did you arrive at Fred being Linwood as opposed to him playing Elliot?
Well, Freddie is an actor who auditioned for something else that I did, a short film that I made some years ago. And it was one of those situations where Freddie was, I thought he was so talented. He did something
Yes.
I've never seen an actor do before, which was that he said, based on these sides, this could either be a comedy, a drama, or it could be a horror film, something like that. You can probably tell by watching, the rewrite that my films tend to be very dialogue heavy, very character driven. They could be interpreted a lot of different ways, and especially if you're looking at, just 2 or 3 pages of sides, I think it's easy to be like, okay, how should I approach this? So Freddie was the only actor I'd ever experienced that said, I'm not really sure what this is supposed to be. So I'm going to give you 3 totally different reads and you pick the one that works for you. And all 3 reads were so good that it was like they would have been perfect if it was a straight comedy or a drama or a horror. Like it was just, I was so impressed by that. I was really impressed. And I knew that he did not get that part, but I knew I wanted to work with him on, something else. So I really wrote the character Linwood with him in mind. I was hearing his voice,
Mm.
like, this guy Freddie would be so perfect for this. And I reached out to him and I said, yeah, I'm just getting some actors together to do a table read. I would love it if you would just read this and see how it feels. And that was for the most part his audition. He didn't really know that, but that was kind of his auditions. Once I heard him kind of, say words, he was, I knew he was great. I knew he was gonna be. But as he read the script more and got to know it, he wanted to be Elliot. He read for Elliot. He was just like
Mm-hmm.
to read for Elliot too. And it took some doing. I was like, Freddie, you gotta trust me on this one, man. Like you are this character. Like just please trust me when I tell you, like this is the fit for you. And he went along, but it took a while before he was like, yeah, you're right. This is me. He was like, this is right for me. I'm Linwood. So
He killed it.
I
He killed
thought,
it as Linwood. He
Absolutely.
I thought
did.
he killed it.
I-
And I thought their balance was so appropriate. You know what I'm saying? Like I thought they were the perfect balance off of each other. I knew when we casted those two that I knew it was gonna work the way I wanted it to.
Mm-hmm. Because Elliot was strong too. He was
Very strong.
he was strong.
Yeah. Stephen had a lot of I think that's why that storyline I mentioned earlier didn't work the way I wanted it to because Elliot was a very different character on the page. Once Stephen stepped in and kind of embodied him,
Mm-hmm.
bringing this kind of almost August Wilson veteran actor,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that I hadn't really imagined, for Elliot before. So yeah, he was fantastic. I mean,
He was.
I think they all really were.
Yeah,
They are. They were an ensemble cast.
no, they were. And I love that. Individually, I like them. I love them all. Um, I have to say that Linwood got on my nerves a little bit in the very beginning.
Okay.
Because I was really feeling Elliot and the problems he was going through with Paige and Andre.
Yeah,
Those two, Andrew, I'm sorry, Andrew, which, as Tiffany said, I mean, right off the bat, I didn't like them,
Yeah.
because they were trying to put us in a box, this box that Black writers and actors always find themselves in. And what I saw was Elliot trying to get out of this box And Linwood was trying to place him in the box just to get by, just to make that bread, that dollar. And I'm like, okay, is this what Linwood is really about? I'm glad later on you could see him broaden a bit and find and really try, particularly in the end, you could see how I think his conversation with Elliot really helped him. You know, though angry with him, but
Yeah.
he was really able to explain to Elliot what he's looking for.
Mhm.
How do you what did you expect to come out from this the characters being black, writing in such a difficult writing or having the difficulty in Hollywood? What were you expecting from your audience to get from this? Um, did you have anything in mind, or is it what you see is what you get?
Um, I don't know. I'm not sure I understand the question. You said, did I expect any people for there to be any kind of call to action or people to do things differently or think differently
More
after?
or less thinking differently about the whole aspect between Elliot and his friends, the agents. Uh,
Yeah.
exactly, because I kind of felt that there was something else that Elliot was searching for, but he kind of acquiesced at the end, and which, well, and I say that because that's what Linwood pretty much said to him at the end. At the end, you got to get it done, and
Yeah.
it seemed to me that there was more Elliot wanted to expose, but he had to get it done. He had a week.
Hmm. I,
Well, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Terry. I wanted to
Now, I
give
was gonna
my
say,
take.
I hope that I hope it doesn't seem like he caved. I think what I hope happened is that he connected with a different part of himself where he
Mhm.
really made it feel like, this is really more about me than it is about these white executives and what they think. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's almost like them winning was just a byproduct of him really winning internally. That's my feeling about it.
That's what I got from it.
Mhm.
That's what I said. If I could give my take, I felt like at first I had the same reaction to Linwood that Ron did because I was just like, Linwood, you tripping? You about to make $1. But I realized too that Linwood is also his cousin.
Yeah.
So this is not just his job. This is family, and he knows him. So he's like, when he had that one-on-one with Elliot, he was like, I know you can do this. Like
Yeah.
he said, all you gotta do is, like he's telling him, put some spit shine on these characters. Like, go deeper. And then when he sent him on that journey, he learned a lot about himself. He learned about the drinking. Even when he went to see his father, he learned some things. Like his father said something about his hustle, his work ethic. Talked to his mom. The girlfriend Brandy told him about himself. When the Ash when he talked. So all of that, I felt like at the end of this, he it took him even the his perception of his friends, like the
Oh,
fitness the
Taurus.
fitness coach and
Yeah.
stuff, him, Taurus, and then the other guy, and he was like, no, that's your perception of me. So
Right.
once he started going deeper, once he started, you know recognizing his own flaws, and he went deeper with the characters, it made it easier for him to go back to that same project and breathe life to it and stuff. So he turned it around. So he was happy with what he gave them at the end. And then they in turn, after reading it, they too were happy and they were on the same page. And even the way he came back to them, he was more humble. He was more humble. His whole approach had changed. So I never looked at it as him capitulate. He was like, let's work. Like yeah, so I got the same take from it as you, Terry.
Thank you. That was the intention. I can see how it could be read both ways, though. I can definitely see that. I can definitely see that. I think at one point I even said to my producers, like that very last scene where it's like the music swells and it goes to the wide shot. He's sitting real across from the execs and they kind of laugh. And I think I remember saying to my producer at one point, So I hope this doesn't have a feeling of like, and this is how sellouts are born, right here. You know, because it, yeah, I could see how it might seem like he was going along to get along. That was not the intention, though. You know what I'm saying? I think that,
Mhm.
you know, I hope I hope debate continues and the people,
Mhm.
And it
continue.
will, and it will. And I wasn't trying to paint a broad,
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it. Yeah.
because like the other two characters, Rashad and Taurus, they seem to be rather complacent with their life. But I love what Linwood said about Taurus a little later on. That was really funny, and also I could actually see that during the film. I just thought that Elliot was looking for some validation that he felt like he had to have. Um, and to be truthful, he had some great friends because they didn't give him that. They gave them what they thought he needed to have, and the drinking, um, the womanizing, the partying, and not really getting into the specificities of his work. I think that was the broader message and the message that most people would get from this.
Mhm.
Well done. Um, I'm also a cinematographer, so I watch movies for just about everything, and I'm gonna tell you, there's not one flaw in this movie. Um,
Oh,
and
man,
my wife is
I love it.
my wife is the biggest critic. So I understand that's why I go someplace in a dark room after midnight when she's asleep to do whatever I'm gonna do. But
Okay.
she really loved your movie.
Oh,
And
thank you.
not only that, she had a problem with Brandy in the cafe because Brandy was, giving him all this grief, not understanding. And this is again what I meant, not truly understanding the heart of a man, a black man specifically, trying
Yeah.
to get, trying to get out there and get himself noticed. And she wants to break up with him because she doesn't have the time. He's not giving her the time that she wants. So she was really upset with Brandy. And I'm going
Oh,
to tell you, I had a little thing about it too with her. What do you think?
I wasn't upset with Brandy.
I know you would.
I wasn't upset with Brandy. I understood because um creatives, they do need that space. But I understood that she needed to them to communicate like what she needed and things like that, and vice versa, because it sounded like from what she was saying that when it came time, like he had a deadline, like he ghosted her and
mhm.
stuff. And I think she recognized the needs that what she needed in a partner, and she was like, okay, I did this. I tried to hang in there with you, and now I got to find somebody who's going to give me what I need. And like I said, I get it. Like I'm creative. You're creative, Ron. We all creatives and stuff. But some people gonna be like, hey, you need to make time for me during this time, whatever. So I understood. I understood.
Help me out, Terry. What do you say?
What I tried to do with all of the characters was sort of create them in such a way where they all had enough sort of dimensionality where you could see the right and the wrong in all of them. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because I think that's, you listen to a group of people, you listen to a couple argue, or a group of people kind of go around in circles. Like everybody got their right points and everybody got their things. Were like, you wrong for that though. You can't say that. And I think that that's I wanted all of them to sort of be dynamic in that way. You know what I'm saying? Even, Elliot, as flawed and as messy as he was, I wanted you to be like, but he's right though. And I get why,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying? And Linwood,
Mm-hmm.
I wanted everybody to have some,
Duality.
some real validity in
Mm-hmm.
what they believed, and that complexity, and yes, that duality. I thought that would kind of keep I thought that would keep viewers, engaged and on their toes. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't know, you're not entirely knowing what to make of these people because they're not all good or bad or black or white. You know what I'm saying? And I think I always love stories like that. Those are the
Me
most.
too. And like, here's the thing, though. We mad at Brandy for saying what she want. Brandy was supposed to be his girlfriend, right?
Yeah.
Not she's also his girlfriend, but I
Um,
peeped. I peeped that he spent the night over at Ash's house. Now I understood Ash to
Hey,
be in
Ash,
in in his writers group, and that's fine. You know, because there are guys and girl co-ed writers groups and stuff. But I peeked that she was just like you staying over. She pretty much, and then we saw Elliot leaving the next morning. So Elliot was not faithful. So Randy wasn't asked for much. You already ghosted me to write, which is cool because she's supposed to give him that space to write, to do his thing.
Right.
But you ain't even being faithful too. On top of that, after you ghosted me and stuff, nah, Brandy needed to find another dude. Yeah. Peace, Elliot.
Okay,
Peace.
okay. I can't come back from that. Anything I say it'd be too chauvinistic. So I have it. Okay, so you got that.
Well, I will say in the original script they do get back together in the end, and there's a scene that was cut from the film where they make up in the cafe at the end, but it felt like it was feeling like a speed bump. You know how sometimes you watching a film and you feel like I really got my sort of emotional resolution. I didn't need that little. I think you all felt like you had to tie it all up with a bow. There were story beats that it felt like we were trying to tie it with a bow, and it's like we can really leave it. You know, we can leave that on the cutting room floor. But we did. They were supposed to get back together. That was a part of the original piece. You know, the original film, the original cut, the first cut.
I wouldn't have been mad at that either, you know, because he was figuring stuff out at the end, you know, and it seemed like he really cared about Brandy. So if they could have worked through it, I wouldn't have been mad at that either.
Yeah, he did. We don't know what Brandy was doing. You know, you pointed out what my boy
Brandy was being ghosted. Really, that's what she was doing.
we team Elliot in the Johnson house. I like that.
No, I'm team Elliot too, but the reality is.
Well,
Elliot was cheating.
Okay, let's go with moms. I love Felicia. Moms gave him what he needed.
Yep.
And I did like that storyline because that's how moms are. You know, you got a good mother. She's going to see through your pain, but she knows what you need. And Pops, Ty, I don't know. I struggle with Ty a bit, man. You know, he seems to be very supportive of his son, but he was tearing him down a little bit. And I said to myself, I don't think he needs that at that particular moment.
No, he did not. He probably didn't.
He didn't, but go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, I mean, he did not need that. But he maybe did need it in the sense that this was somebody who was also kind of what's the phrase you use, supplementing his lifestyle, you know what I'm saying, and helping him get over, you know what I'm saying. I think very many of us, you know, I think so many of us, I think we know that relationship with our fathers or father figures where they don't always know how to be they don't know how to be as Heathcliff Huxtable as we may want them to be, but they paying the bills and they doing, you know, they taking care of you the way that they know how to. And you know, I think that was another sort of that sort of expressed that complexity, you know what I mean? Because I think that from the father's point, again, the father probably felt like, hey, first of all, I'm just giving it to you straight. I'm telling you what you need to hear. He would probably say, I am telling you what you need to hear. And also, you know, I'm letting you leave here with your student loan money in your pocket. So
that's what I was going to say. The student loan company was calling his house. So that's the frame of mind that Pops was in. Like, okay, you got, first of all, Elliot's house was fabulous. That house was amazing. And I know he had roommates and everything. And that's the other thing Pops said. Pops like, you living out here, you know, I guess beyond your means or whatever. Like, you got this fly house up in there. Was he in the hills or did he live in Hollywood Hills?
Hancock Park is where he was.
I was just like, that house was laid. And but yet the student loan people are calling my house and I'm still helping you pay for stuff. So he probably was like, as you said earlier, Terry, like some parents will be like, how long you gonna do this? Like, when you gonna find a job that can help you pay the student loans and I'm not on the hook and they not ringing my phone.
Look, It's the old adage, fake it till you make it. So I wasn't mad at him. He was, he was doing what he could do, and Dad did what he was supposed to do. I mean, fathers do lead with a very strong hand sometimes, but they're also very compassionate, and we could see that he was willing to, you know, uh, give him a few more dollars to pay that note, and fathers will do that. They may give you a hard time, but they do come around. Well
Yeah.
written. Every single word was just, I mean, I'm sitting there listening to this thing and I'm like, this is not a movie. This is real life. I mean,
Uh-huh.
it was as if I'm actually sitting watching people with these traumas, these circumstances in their lives. And I just didn't feel like I was watching a movie.
It was very relatable.
And but the writing was just. May I ask who's your writer?
I'm the writer.
Oh,
He's the
you
writer.
wrote okay.
That's what I said. The writer, director, he is.
Okay, well, man, look. If I had a hat, I'd take it off.
Okay,
I
thanks,
mean,
man.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you because you just had another screening, right? Or you're getting ready to have another screening.
Yeah, both things are true. Yes.
Okay. So how was that? How was the film received? What type of reception did you get?
Oh, well, let's see. So after Martha's Vineyard, so the film went to Harlem International Film Festival, which I had a schedule conflict and I wasn't able to go. I was sick about it because I never like to miss screenings. And I got an email Friday from them that Thursday or Friday of last week that the film won Best Director. I won Best Director. So that was amazing.
Yay!
It made me feel even worse about not being there. That was great. And then, so from here this week, keeping everything straight in my mind, this week it'll be Oak Park Black Film Festival is next. That's in Sacramento.
Hmm.
And the Silicon Valley African Film Festival, which will be Friday. So I'll fly out here Wednesday and be in Northern California for a few days, going to both of those. And then we bring it back home to our LA premieres, the Michelle Film Festival later this month. So very much looking forward to that. And only a handful of our cast and crew have even seen this film, so that's a big deal for us.
Wow.
What?
We haven't had an LA premiere yet. We have not had an LA screening.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, so they're all really looking forward to it. Yeah.
So, what advice would you give a struggling writer that may be going through some of the things that Elliot found himself with? Give us some advice. What would you say?
I would say buy or watch the rewrite first. Um, no, we do have our distribution, so no, we are waiting for a release date. So and I'll be able to announce that.
That was my next question.
So I was kind of joking, but I was kind of serious too. Watch the rewrite,
Absolutely, absolutely.
kind of. What advice would I give them? I don't know, man. I guess the same advice that I was giving myself for a long time, which is just hang in there. It's hard. It's hard, It is very difficult. It's a very difficult thing that I think creators try to do. I read a quote somewhere, I can't remember where it was, but it says something like true star power is having the talent to manage your celebrity or something to that effect. But
Mhm.
I think that appealed to me because first of all, I find that creatives are very complex, emotional people that have to put all of these, emotions and these creative abilities into a form and a structure that they can sell if they want to have a career at it. But then also, they have to be personally accountable and professional and all of those things. I mean, that's taken me a long time to figure out, you know what I'm saying? And maybe that's probably another personal element with Elliot, because I think a big part of what he had to figure out was you can be a crazy writer and stay up all night and drink in your room and whatever, be in your feelings if you want to. But if you want to be a career professional, if you want to go to the next level with this, you got to discipline yourself and you got to kind of hone and harness those talents. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm still continuing to learn how to do that. I think that was something he had to learn how to do. That's what I would say to those artists. Hang in there and learn how to harness those talents, learn how to kind of, have that discipline and get it done. Um, that's all I got.
Well, it shows, it does. The movie is fantastic, and for you out there, when it's in your theaters, please, please, please go see it. You will not regret it, and you will come back to the spot we'll talk, and we'll have some interesting dialogue with it because Tiffany and I, we see eye to eye, but that's only when one eye is closed. So
Well, you all are doing what I want people to be doing, which is having
Yeah,
some.
yeah, yeah. And just like you're a writer and cinematographer, Ron, but I'm a writer too.
yeah, yeah.
So at the same time, and
Yeah, and this is what I think what makes it work. I was happy to hear that she got you and you were available to talk to us because I know when I first saw the movie, I'm like, well, this is what you want to go to a Martha's Vineyard or Florida or any festival.
ABFF because
Maybe
it's screened there too.
you want to see this kind of movie, and I'm glad to see that Black artists are coming out with their own level of blackness that works, that that is rich and cultural and everything that we expect it to be. And I can say that's the rewrite.
Hmm. It's relatable.
Yes.
The conversation was so
Oh, it's
uh timely, especially just Elliot trying to figure out about, the narrative and black voices and stuff because at the Martha's Vineyard Film Festival, I don't know if you had a chance to see that black content storytelling panel that had Courtney B. Vance and
Yeah,
Lionel, what's his name from the Bear, and I'm skipping on what's his name the vet on there, but they had amazing conversations about that, about our voice and our storytelling and how important that is, especially during this time.
for sure. Yeah. One
Yeah. So I could really relate and feel where Elliot was coming from about him not wanting to have his voice watered down or stereotype and
Yeah.
things. So I felt him. I felt him.
I'm sorry, I was looking for something Tara said while they had that little walk in the park, and
Okay.
it really struck to me. He said the universe doesn't give us what we want. It gives us
Who
what
we're being. Yeah.
What we need.
who
Yeah.
right,
No, it's who
Hmm.
we're being. Who
who
we're
we
being.
want.
Yeah. It gives us
Hmm.
who.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh wow, I got to write this down. And
All day, man. Yeah. That proves. Yeah. That's
there-
constant. Yeah.
when he said it, I'm like, this writer is like
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
on
And you won at Martha's Vineyard too.
One of
Your film won an
yeah,
award.
one best feature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It
Thank
was
you.
one of my favorites too. Your feature, we talked to Can You Stand the Rain, director, and the short film, the I Hate My Love Life and stuff. There were a few that were my favorites, but the rewrite was definitely one of them. Lawanda and the other ladies that I was with, they liked the rewrite too. A lot of people came away with positive thoughts about that movie. And so I know we were going to ask because you're going to have, distribution. You already talked about that, but how can they see the movies now? Do they need to go to the film festivals to see them
Yeah,
now?
so we've got again the big film festival, if you're in the LA area, will be the Michaud Film Festival, which is
Hmm.
really excited about that. In fact, that's at the Culver Theater, which is one of my favorite theaters, one of my favorite parts of town, actually. So we're trying to find a cool little spot to do an after party after and really make it a nice event because this is our big stepping out, coming out, experience. Like I said, most of our crew hasn't even cast and crew haven't even seen this yet. So if you're in LA, that is the 24th of October, so Friday, 6:45 p.m. And if
Hmm.
not, then right now I do know that we have our release date is you all are getting real details right now because we haven't even put a
Mm.
press release out. Our release date right now is slated for November 21st, but we're trying to push that up to align with the festival. So we're hoping to be able to announce, at the festival.
Oh wow.
So, yeah, go on Apple or Google Play, wherever you rent or buy titles, and go check out the film. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, it'll be soon. It'll be very soon. Be very, very soon.
That's
Congrats. That's well deserved.
Hard over here, y'all. Pushing hard. We are a small but mighty team, but we are pushing real hard to get this out to the world before the end of the year. Should be. So
Yeah, it's well done. And I know that a lot of people will receive it well.
well, I appreciate that.
well,
I
congratulations.
appreciate this love right here. This is
Uh,
my first podcast talking about the film. So thank you all for being gentle with me. This was
no,
cool.
Oh, of course.
I mean, we couldn't be anything else. I mean, this movie is absolutely fantastic, and I wouldn't say if it weren't so. You know, in fact, I can't wait to see something else you do. You
Mhm.
you mentioned horror. Do you have any affinity to horror? Horror film?
No, I don't. That was a short film that I made um called The Mason Ring, and it was about a couple of young brothers that had to their grandfather was a Freemason, and he died, and it was the night before his funeral. They had to go and deliver his Mason ring to the funeral parlor, and this Mason ring. They thought it was either lost or stolen. It popped up, and the grandmother was like, "You assure me that you're gonna make sure this ring gets on your grandfather's funeral." They hated their grandfather. They thought he was a mean, bougie old man, but they want to carry out this mission because they're hoping to inherit this beautiful 90s Cadillac that was the grandfather's, that they think should be theirs now that he's gone. So because it had these sort of esoteric elements, and took place in the funeral home in the hood at night, that's where I think Freddie was kind of saying, this could be a horror film, but it didn't really have those vibes. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? It has sort of it has some kind of rich nostalgia feels. I think I was kind of maybe going for like some Black Wes Anderson vibes a little bit.
Mm.
It wasn't spooky.
I
No
have
interest.
Jordan Peele in that too, man. I mean, look,
Okay.
when we talk about Masons and the secrecy that, in fact, I met a Mason when I had the nerve to ask, "What do you all, what goes on behind closed doors?"
What did he say?
He said, "If I tell you, I have to kill you," and he
Mm.
repented. And so that's like, we can keep it a secret, man. I don't need to know. So that could sell.
That's, that's making me think about reaching out to people on like Instagram and stuff like, yeah, I just got a few questions about the organization, just crickets. You get nothing.
Crickets.
Before that, it's like, hey, brother, thanks for reaching out. Like, yeah, I just wanted to ask a few things about being a Freemason. And
Mm.
somebody come back, well, what exactly do you want to know? I was
Mm,
Mm.
yeah.
that door is
Mm.
shut. Well, Terry, it's been a pleasure, man. To rap with you about the movie and your release date. Can't wait because
Same.
I will be out. I will see it again, and I will tell my friends and a few of my friends that need to see something like this. And I tell you, man, it's just all around good to be with you today and talk about it.
Thanks so much.
Yeah.
I appreciate
And
it. And I'm sure I know the answer to this question, not to cut you off, Tiffany. You
I'm
all are in,
sorry.
right? You all are in DC, right?
The metropolitan area, yeah.
Which is where I'm from originally. So
Oh,
at some point, I know you all know that I'm a DC native. I'm working on some kind of DC screening. I don't know what the shape of that is going to be next, but I'll let you all know about that.
please do.
Oh, thank
There's
you.
family and folks that want to see this movie, and they ain't gonna come to LA to see it. So
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
you said it. Where about in DC are you from?
I grew up in Riggs Park, Northeast, and went to Duke Ellington.
Duke Ellington.
Yeah, and yeah, that's my home.
It's
Yeah.
funny you said that because I was getting ready to say it before you did. I was getting ready to say we forgot to mention that he's from DC, and you said it, so it was perfect timing. And since you went to Duke Ellington, did you go to the Dave Chappelle event, the fundraiser for Duke Ellington at Martha's Vineyard?
I missed it. I missed it. I missed
Yeah,
it.
he had
I wanted
a
to go.
whole at
I
the
heard.
Vineyard.
I
He
heard.
did. He had a whole fundraiser for Duke Ellington because he went to Duke Ellington too.
Mhm.
And we got a chance to see his documentary that's
Okay.
not even out that he filmed during COVID.
I wanted to go to that so bad and donate to my alma mater and everything, but though that festival time flies and you have so many things you want to do, and then I ended up staying longer than I originally intended, but I could only find a place off the island, so I was walking
Oh, yeah.
the whole situation. Yeah, but I missed that, unfortunately. You're making me feel like I need to go onto the website or something and make a late donation.
Well, I don't know if you better find it because they wouldn't let us film. They locked our cameras up.
Well, Duke Ellington's always, they're gonna find a way to make sure you make a
Oh yeah,
donation.
they probably have footage.
Yeah.
They probably have footage, but it was, they were like, no, we had to put our phones in the baggies and everything and get it
Okay.
after it was over. Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
wow.
can you say what it was like at least? Did you enjoy it? Or?
I did. The movie was good. Afterwards, he did a little talk about, he's funny. So he answered some questions. And David Letterman was there.
Yeah, I saw that too. I saw that.
Mm-hmm. So he
Yeah.
came out to support Dave and stuff. So it was cool.
Okay. Okay.
Well, I missed this year's, but I will be at next year's.
I feel like I gotta go every year now. That was my second time.
I feel that way too.
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, I love the festival, but I was saying that was my second time winning there. The Mason Ring won Best Short Film, and the Rewrite won Best Feature. I was shocked; I couldn't believe it. So I'm two awards right there on the shelf. I'm a two-time Martha's Vineyard Academy. Sorry, man, subconscious.
You manifesting? Yes, you manifesting that.
Existence, brother.
Yeah, you manifesting that.
Two-time Martha's Vineyard Film Festival Award winner. So I feel like I got to go back every year now.
Mm-hmm.
That's great, man. That's great.
So,
well, it's been a pleasure, man. And whatever we can do, if you're around DC or anything like that, please drop us a note, and we will be there.
Yeah, we'll come out. We'll support. We'll plug the movie.
okay. I appreciate it. Thanks so much, y'all.
Thank you. Thank you. Really enjoyed it.
Definitely.
Thanks so much.
Bye-bye now.
Okay.
See you.
Hello, I'm the freshest in the place. Running laps with my vibe and you can't keep the pace. Head to toe while I'm dripping in style. I'm fly with $1 million smile. Cannot be me, never could you see me. When you this fresh, everybody wanna greet me. Check the clock, now I check my wrist. Ice so bright, the whole room stay lit. I know you wanna match my style. You haven't seen someone like me in a while. It looks easy, I make it look easy. Born to be fly, know you really believe me. I leave the room, energy remains. I'm the flyest, stacked up with all these chains. New swag, my swag, here I go. I'm so fresh all around the globe. There ain't no other that can take my role. I'm so hot, but the style so cold. In every room, you know that I reign. Eyes on me, can't deny the fame. Now watch the kicks, don't step on my shoes. Outfit changing for